The time by Caracris is 6 p.m. and this is CBX Business News. The business news headlines are brought to you by QMax Wealth Management, making more possible. A new market for small businesses. Regional exports jump and UK markets stabilize. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Monday, June 22, 2026. I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, the Jamaica Stock Exchange is set to launch its micro market designed to help small businesses access capital and enter public markets. Also ahead, regional exports surge nearly 16% in strong start to 2026, signaling improved trade performance across the Caribbean economy. And later, the United Kingdom bond market holds steady as investor concerns ease following recent political leadership transition uncertainty. Stay with us as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
Me grew up and see my granny save her money under her mattress.
Exactly.
Okay. Your grandmother house never burned down?
No, how you reach that, so?
That was a one-off thing.
That could have happened to anybody. That's why you must put your money in a financial institution and protect it.
What if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in.
What you mean?
JDIC is a financial safety net which provides coverage for your money in case your financial institution fails.
Explain that to me.
All right, because of the JDIC deposit insurance scheme, once you put your money into a financial institution like a bank or building society, you can get coverage of up to a maximum of $1.2 million per deposit or per financial institution if it should fail. And for even more information, you can visit their new website at www.jdic.org. And you can follow the social media platforms for the latest information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with a major development for Jamaica's small business sector. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, is set to launch its micro market on Tuesday, aimed at expanding access to financing for Jamaica's small business sector. The new market will create a dedicated platform allowing micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to raise capital directly from the investing public, opening what the exchange says is a new pathway for business growth and long-term wealth creation. The launch also forms part of a wider strategy to address one of the biggest challenges facing smaller businesses: limited access to growth financing, despite accounting for more than 90% of registered businesses in Jamaica and employing over 70% of the workforce. Alongside the new market, the JSE will also introduce a sandbox program, an 18-month preparation system designed to help businesses strengthen governance, financial reporting, and regulatory compliance before entering the capital market. The initiative will officially be launched during a special ceremony at the Terra Nova Hotel, with addresses expected from Finance Minister Favour Williams, Industry Minister Senator Aubin Hill, and Jamaica Stock Exchange CEO Livingston Morrison. Spanish hospitality giant Rio Hotels and Resorts revealed it has invested more than $750 million or approximately 118 billion Jamaican dollars into the country over the last 2.5 decades. The announcement was made during the company's 25th anniversary celebrations held recently. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the level of investment demonstrates the company's deep confidence in Jamaica's long-term economic potential.
These 25 years have seen investment on your part of over $750 million or 118 billion Jamaican dollars with a B. And that, Prime Minister, is confidence and trust in the people and the administration and your leadership, Prime Minister, and the workers, the wonderful workers of the tourism industry in Jamaica.
That was Jamaica's Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett. Meanwhile, Rio Hotels and Resorts says its economic contribution to Jamaica extends far beyond tourism, revealing that the company has spent 66 billion Jamaican dollars with local suppliers over the last 5 years alone, providing a major boost for businesses across sectors including agriculture, manufacturing, and distribution. Rio Hotels and Resorts Managing Director Joanne Tryan Ryu broke down the figures while outlining the company's growing economic footprint in Jamaica.
In the last 5 years, our contribution to social security and tax totals more than 14.3 billion Jamaican dollars. Salaries have represented 12 billion, and we have spent 66 billion in Jamaican dollars for Jamaican suppliers. But 25 years teach you that true hospitality is not built with concrete or accounting, but with soul. 99% of our team members are local Jamaicans.
Information Minister Dana Morris-Dixon says discussions with the U.S. government have gone beyond the recently discussed Third Country Nationals Agreement and have also included talks surrounding greater access for Jamaicans seeking work opportunities abroad. According to the minister, the government has been actively exploring ways to secure additional placements for Jamaicans under overseas employment programs, particularly within the U.S. agricultural and hospitality sectors.
So there was a conversation at one point about whether or not there was an opportunity around highly skilled persons. Now, that became conflated with TCN. And there was actually a lot of work, I'm told, that had to go into clarifying between the two countries that TCN is completely different from any kind of skilled workers program. And what would have been looked at is how can we maybe get some more skilled workers? And at the same time, there were discussions around how can we get more of our farm workers and or hotel workers that are going to the US, and we know those programs tend to be oversubscribed. Is there an opportunity for Jamaicans to also be working in the US?
That was Information Minister Dana Morris-Dixon. In other news, Stanley Motor Limited is reporting a major surge in profitability as the commercial real estate company posted significantly stronger earnings for 2025, driven by expansion at its flagship property on Halfway Tree Road. The company says net profit climbed 82% to $2.03 billion compared with just over $1.1 billion the year before. Revenue also rose sharply, increasing 52.6% to $860.7 million. Management says the strong performance was largely fueled by the successful completion and occupancy of its new 11-story Unit 1 building at 58 Halfway Tree Road, which expanded the company's rentable commercial space to more than 284,000 square feet. Stanley Motor also reported growth in key performance indicators, with net operating income rising 69% to $614 million, while total assets expanded to $14.2 billion. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities. In Monday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 113 stocks, of which 43 advanced, 53 declined, and 17 traded firm. Leading the winners are Kintyre Holdings JA, Elite Diagnostic, Jamaica Public Service Company 7%, and JMMB Group Limited 7.15% cumulative redeemable preference share. While leading the losers are MPC Caribbean Clean Energy, Caribbean Cream, AS Bryden & Sons Holdings USD, and Blue Power Group. The main index declined by 3,242.18 points to close at 351,377 points. The junior market index also declined, but by 1.97 points to close at 3,028.69 points. It's time for the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. In today's Market Education feature, we're talking about junk bonds. Junk bonds, also known as high-yield bonds, are debt securities issued by companies with lower credit ratings and a higher risk of default compared to investment-grade borrowers. Because of this higher risk, they typically offer investors higher returns. These bonds are often issued by companies facing financial challenges or carrying heavy debt levels. That was the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, Tease the Senses, and Pulse Investments.
It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Don't never, ever, ever wanna calm down. Oh, no, no. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. Exports across Latin America and the Caribbean are off to a powerful start this year, providing a major boost for regional economies despite continued uncertainty in global trade markets. New data from the Inter-American Development Bank shows the value of goods exported from the region jumped 15.7% in the first quarter of 2026, nearly double the export growth recorded throughout last year. The expansion was driven by higher export volumes and stronger commodity prices, particularly for oil, gold, copper, and agricultural products produced across the region. China emerged as the fastest growing destination for exports, with shipments climbing 25% year over year, while exports to Asia, Europe, and the United States also recorded double-digit growth. Despite the strong performance, the IDB says geopolitical tensions and uncertainty around global trade policy remain key risks going forward. However, the bank says the current export surge highlights the resilience of Latin America and the Caribbean economies and the region's growing importance in global trade. Guyana is moving aggressively to position itself as a major aviation and logistics hub for the region, with government unveiling a 10-point strategy aimed at supporting trade, tourism, and long-term economic expansion. The strategy includes airport expansion, aviation training, and digital technology as the country builds out its transport infrastructure. Speaking during the commissioning of 2 new aircraft for JAG's aviation, President Irfan Ali says Guyana's plan go far beyond improving air travel services.
The first pillar of this plan is to transform Guyana into a regional aviation hub. This vision is to see Guyana position itself as a premier aviation gateway, linking the Caribbean, South America, North America, and Africa. We'll do so through strategic investment in airport infrastructure, air traffic management system, expanded airline connectivity, drone technology, yes, drone technology. Guyana will strengthen its role as a regional transportation and logistics center.
Ali says Guyana must take a leadership role in shaping the future of aviation as economic activity continues to expand rapidly.
We must not be a responsive market. We must be a market that is setting our own standards and setting the trajectory of aviation for the region. That is the market we must be interested in creating.
Meanwhile, Guyana's rapidly expanding economy is attracting new private sector investment, with a major regional automotive partnership introducing new vehicle brands into the market. CAM Motors has launched in Guyana through a partnership involving regional auto giant ATL Automotive, bringing the Jetour and Photon vehicle brands to local consumers as demand for vehicles continues to grow. President Irfan Ali says the project represents the kind of regional business collaboration needed to create new investment opportunities and expand economic growth.
This partnership reflects precisely the kind of economic collaboration that I have been encouraging and promoting. My government has consistently advocated for stronger linkages between local enterprise and regional firms. We want to see Guyanese companies partnering with Caribbean businesses to bring more goods, more services, more investment, and more opportunities to and from Guyana. When local knowledge, regional expertise, and international product come together, everyone benefits.
That was President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali. Meanwhile, ATL Automotive Executive Chairman Adam Stewart said the company will help ensure customers receive quality products backed by strong after-sales support.
And my job here is a very simple job. I act in a supportive role to Rakesh and Vishak and the team at GT Motors and Cam Motors. Our job is to make sure that the Guyanese people and the people of the Caribbean get the right product at the right price, absolutely best service and support, and the kind of facilities that you'd expect of a growing society.
That was Executive Chairman of ATL Automotive, Adam Stewart. In other news, Suriname's emerging energy industry is drawing global attention this week as government officials, energy companies, and investors gather for one of the region's largest oil and gas events. The 2026 Suriname Energy, Oil and Gas Summit opens this week as the country moves closer to first oil production and prepares for a major new phase of energy-driven economic growth. Discussions will focus on offshore development, natural gas opportunities, LNG infrastructure investment, local content participation, and long-term economic transformation. Organizers say ensuring local businesses and workers benefit through supplier contracts, training, and industry partnerships will be a key priority. The four-day summit is expected to attract more than 1,200 delegates and over 260 exhibitors as Suriname prepares for its energy future. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 20 securities, of which 4 advanced, 6 declined, and 10 traded firm. Today's winners are NCB Financial Group, Trinidad and Tobago NGL, Guardian Holdings, and Massey Holdings, while leading the losers are A.S. Braden and Sons Holdings, National Enterprises, Republic Financial Holdings, and Unilever Caribbean. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All TNT Index declined by 6.18 points to close at 1,438.70. The Composite Index, however, advanced by 0.20 points to close at 991.78. The Cross-Listed Index also advanced, but by 1 point to close at 71.84, while the SME Index remained at 86.92. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
The fact that he lived in a closet, had one shirt, and made something of his life. The Montego Freeport is really his thing that he's most noted for having done, and the vision and having it implemented and changed the life of, the city of Montego Bay. He was chairman of Air Jamaica in 1980. Critical time. Brought about changes and started to create operational profits at Air Jamaica.
Mikey, is what sweet you saw?
Yeah, dear babes. Where's your catty? We are go party tonight.
Party? You secure your future yet? Careless.
Did you know that over time the stock market has provided a reliably high return on investments? Be sure to contact a licensed stockbroker for more information on this exciting investment opportunity.
Taking care of business, Mikey?
Yeah, catty. I'm securing my future. Want to come look over my stock portfolio?
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Welcome back. In international news, the yield on Britain's 10-year government bond edged lower to 4.81% as investors assess the political fallout following Prime Minister Keir Starmer's resignation. Markets had been monitoring uncertainty surrounding the leadership transition after Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham secured a by-election victory last week, paving the way for his return to Parliament. Burnham has since confirmed confirmed plans to seek the country's top office. Investor concerns eased somewhat after Health Secretary Wes Streeting, who had been viewed as a potential rival candidate, publicly endorsed Burnham's leadership bid. Attention is now shifting to the possible economic implications of a new government and what it could mean for Britain's fiscal outlook. Markets are particularly focused on future borrowing plans. While Burnham has not yet outlined a full fiscal program, investors are watching for signs of increased government spending commitments. Analysts say any major expansion in borrowing could lead to higher gilt issuance and place additional pressure on public finances already strained by elevated debt levels and persistent budget deficits. Meanwhile, Canadian markets moved higher as investors responded positively to new banking sector developments. Canada's benchmark S&P TSX Composite Index climbed roughly 0.4% Monday, rising above the 35,000 level as financial stocks led gains across the market. Investor sentiment improved after Canada's banking regulator lowered capital requirements for major lenders for the first time in 3 years. The move is expected to free up additional funds for lending and support broader credit growth. Shares of RBC and BMO both gained more than 1%. Energy markets also remained in focus after U.S. and Iranian officials completed their first round of negotiations in Switzerland, helping ease concerns over inflation pressures tied to higher oil prices. Fresh economic data showed Canada's annual inflation rate accelerated to 3.2%, above market expectations of 3%. However, softer core inflation data reassured investors that underlying price pressures remain relatively contained. Strength in gold prices also supported mining shares, with Wheaton Precious Metals rising 3.6% and Agnico Eagle Mines gaining 1.3%. And in Europe, Moldova could secure more than €500 million in additional funding if it completes a final round of reforms before the end of the year. Speaking at the EU-Moldova summit on Monday, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says Moldova has already completed 93% of the reforms required under the European Union-backed growth plan.
Moldova has completed 93% of the reforms due so far under the growth plan. That's extraordinary. And this has already unlocked €504 million in European funds for your country. Of course, today's summit is also about next steps.
Von der Leyen says Moldova could unlock an additional €525 million if all reform targets are completed by year end.
If Moldova implements all reforms due by the end of this year, an additional €523 million can be unlocked. This means better roads and bridges, improved healthcare facilities, better access to financing for the companies, and more opportunities for citizens. So a true win-win situation between Moldova and the European Union.
That was European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. The news recap is coming up on the other side of the break.
Caribbean dreams, instant turmeric tea. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in is what you get out. Yeah. Build up your body, boost up your brain. Take on the world now. Say bye-bye pain. Caribbean dreams, instant turmeric tea. Be good to you. Caribbean dreams, instant turmeric tea. Distributed by Amalgamated Distributors Limited.
Has so much book you need for high school?
I'll show you how to make sure you have all the money for my books and even some extra. It's called budgeting, Dad. Making a budget is the most important thing you can do to track your money. It keeps a record of how much you make, how much you spend, where you spend it, and most importantly, how much you can save. Write down all your income, write down all your expenses, see where you can cut down and allot more money to more important things, like saving.
And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, Jamaica Stock Exchange is set to launch micro market for small businesses. Regionally, regional exports surge nearly 16% in strong start to 2026. And internationally, UK bond markets steady after leadership transition concerns ease. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.
Hi, I'm Douglas Oren. Keep watching